Hey everyone, it's Quinn here today, and man, I've got a really fun, weird lesson for you all today. We're going to take a look at some cluster voicings on the bass. So you might be wondering, what's a cluster voicing? Like, what kind of chord is that? So a cluster voicing is a chord where you have a cluster of notes that are really close together in pitch, and kind of when they're stacked on top of each other, they don't necessarily form a really clear like major or minor chord. Sometimes they don't even really clearly form major seventh or minor seventh chords too. They have a lot of extensions in them, and they're kind of vague in terms of what their actual chord name would be. So for some of these, they don't have a very easy name to define, but we can still look at them as like scale degrees within a key, and we can kind of stack them on top of it. So let's take a look at this first voicing that I really like, and I think you'll get the idea for it. So we're going to look at what I'm going to call an E2/6 chord. So we're going to have the note E, then we're going to have the note F sharp, that's our second, and then we're going to have the note C sharp right above that. So is that like a major chord? Is that a minor chord? You might be able to look at it as an inversion of another chord, but it's sort of vague, and it's got a lot of notes that are really close together. So we have like an E and an F sharp. It wouldn't really make sense to call it a ninth because it's in the same octave as the bottom note, the E right here. And then we have kind of a sixth on top of it, a C sharp. So it's kind of like a big suspended chord. It's like a suspended second and a sixth too above it. You don't really have suspended sixth chords, but it feels suspended above it. So it's, again, a really interesting sound. You can move that around a little bit too, and you could even move it up higher on the neck to get different notes relative to like an open E. So you get different colors around that. So maybe I move it up around here. Kind of an interesting sound. Let's maybe try it right here with the low E droning behind it. It's kind of interesting. We get like a flat 9 above that. We've got a sharp 4, and then we've got like a major third above it. Kind of interesting. Here's one more. So that kind of gives us a major sound. So if we have that low E to sort of characterize the chord, then some of this other cluster stuff starts to make a little bit more sense. But if you just play it by itself, it's really open and kind of neutral sounding. So you can use it for a lot of different things. For our next voicing, this one is a little tricky. I'm going to call this kind of like a E major 7 sus2 voicing. It doesn't really have any thirds in it, but it's going to be the notes E, F sharp, and then D sharp. So it's a little challenging to play. Again, a really like beautiful sound. Again, those clustery kind of notes in the bottom sort of clash together, but it's this really sweet dissonance. So if I move that up a little bit, you might be able to get a different vibe for it. It might be a little easier to play too. Yeah, for this one, I feel like it wants to kind of lean major, but it doesn't have a major third in it, so you could make it some really kind of weird minor chord if you put some different notes around it as well. But again, I really like that voicing. The next one we're going to do is sort of like a E7 sus2 kind of voicing. So this is going to be the notes E, F sharp, and then D. Move that around a little bit. Again, it's kind of open. I'm calling that like an E7, but I mean, it could be minor, could be like major. Depends on like what you put around it. So you might maybe start off with like an E7 voicing, like one of these. Maybe swap out that middle note with this one eventually. should be something to try out. So again, kind of an interesting open sound. And again, if you put a kind of like a lower bass note, like maybe an open E around it, that might recontextualize it and give it a more defined characteristic. But just a cool voicing to play around with. This next one, this one's a little tough to play. This one gets a little stretchy, but I really like the way this one sounds. So this is going to be like a G sharp, an A, and then an F sharp together. So it's going to look like this. Yeah, you'll be doing Alan Holdsworth proud if you can play this chord voicing and make it work. But so you're getting kind of a minor second interval in the bottom of this between the G sharp and the A. If you put the low E on it, it really makes it sound nice. It's kind of like an E major add 4 with like a ninth on it. But yeah, really nice kind of like haunting sound to it. Again, up maybe a little higher. And then you can maybe even add some other notes around that, again, to recontextualize it. So maybe... yeah, pretty fun one right there. Definitely a little bit on the challenging side. So let's take a look at another one right here. This one, you could maybe call this like a G sharp add flat 6 chord. I'm moving this one up a little bit higher so it's a little easier to reach. So this is going to be a G sharp, a D sharp, and an E right here. So ooh, this one's pretty cool too. Really nice and moody sound. This one I feel like really wants to be arpeggiated. If you strum this one, it gets kind of interesting right there. Definitely a bit on the crunchy side when you go through it. But again, it's just overall I'm thinking of that as kind of like a root, a fifth, and a flat sixth interval. So could work well if you're playing in kind of natural minor. If you're doing something real jazzy like Mixolydian flat sixth. Work for that too. So it's just a matter of like just stacking notes from the scale so you get these really interesting voices with a lot of seconds, minor seconds, and major seconds stacked on top of one another. All right, so I got one more today. This is a really cool one right here too. This is going to be a B. This is going to be a D sharp right here. And then this is going to be the 9th fret over on the G string. So this is the note E. So this one to me feels kind of like a B major chord with like a 4th added into it. So really nice kind of colorful sound. Alright, that is the last video in this chord series for the bass. Thank you all for watching it. If you didn't catch any of the other videos, try to go back and take a look at them. That really helps to support the channel. If you can, again, like, subscribe, comment underneath of this, and hit the bell notification so you get notified when I put out some new videos. So thank you all for watching, and I hope that helped you out.